Brad Williams, Excel primed, a little more on unique, but we're going to use a filter on this one. Sort through. If we have greater than 2, we want to be able to sort that. If we have more than 3, in other words, we have automakers. And if there's more than 2, just show the 2. If there are more than 3 in the list, show the 3. How do we do that? We're going to use this unique feature. We know the unique. I'm going to pick out one, but we're going to throw a filter in there. Automaker, which is the name range, it's just this list. And then we're going to do the COUNTIF. Well, let's look here. We have this setup here. We have this array. It's an array. Not a big deal. Filter. Keep going. Let's look at filter. What does filter expect? Well, it has an array. It has an include. Look here. Filter allows you to filter a range of data based on criteria you define. We have the array. We have the include. In other words, true or false. Discrete math, Boolean, one and the same. And if empty, it's optional. Well, we're not taking advantage of that. Look back in here. We have filter, the array, and include. We're including in our automaker, in our list, we're saying COUNTIF automaker 215, and this is part of COUNTIF. We have a range, and then we have our criteria. First is our criteria, restriction. So we start right to left. Whenever you're thinking of a solution, always remember you're starting from right to left. COUNTIF, what does COUNTIF do? It's going to count cells that meet a criteria. We've done this a million times. What's the criteria? Let's look. We have the range, which is the list, and then the criteria. Automakers 215, the same list that are greater than 2. Going from right to left, we look for automakers greater than 2. In this case, Jeep. What is 2 Jeeps? There's more than 2 Rivians. So we're going to just count whenever we see more than 2. Otherwise, we're not going to count. Filter is going to say, all right, show me how many are greater than 2. Unique is just going to pick those apart and go, all right, I just want one of each. Go to range. Well, I don't need to do that. I'm going to back up here, and I'm going to go to the include, and it should just give us the trues. True, true. We have true, true, and this is based on COUNTIF. Well, are there more than 2 Jeeps? Yes, yes. More than 2 Rivians? Yes. More than 2 BMWs? No. More than 2 Fords? No. And then you should stop there because we already know there's multiple Jeeps. Okay, cool. So then that is passed over to filter, and then we have this array, which is the same thing. And filter's just going to go, all right, automaker, how many do we see? F9, filter. I don't think I can do this just by pulling the filter here. Well, maybe. I think this is just going to go Jeep, Jeep. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Jeep, Jeep, Rivian, 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 Jeep, Rivian. Okay, cool. Again, more cools than you can imagine. This is, you have to ladder this whole thing. In other words, you have to take one step at a time and just keep asking yourself, what if, what if, what if? Okay, so now unique is looking at this, and what does unique do? It returns a list of unique values. Well, that's why we have an answer of 2. We have 2 vehicles that are unique that are greater than 2. If you go over here, how many are greater than 3? Well, I don't need to drill this back into your head. Well, there's only 1. This is not a tutorial on just copying and pasting this. We all do it. We're all guilty of it. This is to stop and think through the logic. Now you have this idea, the footing. How are you going to apply this to whatever you're working on? You can change this to whatever you want. You could be producing strawberry jam and plum jam and a whole bunch of comparables. Here's the inventory over in this lot, and you're going to go, well, I need to sort this stuff out in a unique means. I don't know, thinking on the fly here, and I probably just had some strawberry jam or something. Here is how you incorporate these various functions. Okay? I keep telling you, Excel as a calculator is just a wonderful tool. It is all of this other stuff that makes it, a bit of a challenge. As we go through here, there's just always going to be something jumping in your way. And you just have to ignore it or work around it or anticipate it. Over here is the narrative, and I pretty much explained it from A to Z. Read it if you need to. Otherwise, work through this stuff and change this stuff up. Note here, this information is static. I have F9 here. I need to remove that, Control D, because it doesn't work. Unique doesn't work if this is random. If I'm chewing through a bunch of different, random names, unique blows up. It just doesn't work because of the spill function. In the previous example, it did work, but go ahead and you can put a random between and incorporate if that's your deal, or you can just put different automakers or whatever and see what works for you. Brad Williams out.